Hello, friends. Miss Natalie here, and today I want to show you how to add a grid to your image for the grid drawing portrait assignment using the tool at griddraw.net. That's GRIDRAW.net. We're going to that one-stop shop for all your fine art needs because that is where you can access the assignment for the grid portrait. And the link to the grid draw tool and a photo that you can use is right there in the assignment instructions. I have a photo of Rory that if you would like to save image as, you right click, hit save image as, you can save it as Rory and you can use that image for your assignment. This is the image that I'm going to use for the rest of the demos in class. I'm going to call it Rory Grid because I have lots of other images of Rory saved already, and one is already called Rory, but you can call yours Rory, or honestly, you can call it whatever you want. But that is the image that I'm going to use, and it's there if you want to use it. And there's also the link for griddraw.net. So if you click there, you'll see the website, and you're going to want to scroll down just a little bit, and it will show you a little button that says Jump to Free Grid Drawing Tool. If you click on that, it should take you halfway down the page to where it says Free Grid Drawing Tool. If it does not, because that's happened to me a couple times, you can just scroll down, pull it down past all of the rigmarole and get right there to the free grid drawing tool. Once you are here, you're going to want to click on Choose File and find your image. If it's the image of Rory or whatever image that you have chosen to add a grid to copy for the grid portrait assignment. And you can see I am looking for my photo of Rory, and there she is. So I'm going to click on the photo, click on the image, hit open, and there it is right in my, right there. All right, and it also gives you a preview of the image so you can see what it looks like. Okay, and this image is in portrait orientation. That means it is taller than it is wide. That's an important thing to think about when we are talking about rows. If you use this exact same image, you're going to want 10 rows. If you use an image that is in landscape orientation, that means that it is wider across than it is tall up and down. You're going to choose 8 rows. I think I'm going to give you a little preview of what a landscape image would look like. Yeah, let me show you right here. So there's my portrait orientation photo. And then I have these other photos here, and that one that I'm pointing at, that is a landscape orientation. You can see it is longer from side to side than it is tall up and down, or wider from side to side than it is tall. If that is the case, you are going to choose 8 rows. But if you are doing a portrait orientation with this exact image or an image like it, you're going to choose 10. All right, the next thing you want to do is choose the color of your grid. I strongly suggest that you use red because it is a bright color that shows up in contrast to most other images. However, if your image is primarily red, you're going to want to use a different bright color like green or yellow or blue. Whatever you choose, make sure it is a bright color that will contrast with other colors in your image. The final thing you're going to want to do is choose the line thickness. You can do one line, but I find it kind of hard to see that. So I think that 2 I shouldn't say one line, but 2 pixels for your line thickness is pretty good. And then I hit enter and it showed me my grid. As you can see, if with 10 rows and 10 columns, my grid cells are far too tall. I want them to be squares. So I'm going to have to adjust those columns until they look like squares. And every time I change that number there, I need to hit enter. That will refresh the page and give me a preview of what it looks like. Let's see. So is that 7 or 8? Hard for me to tell. This is pretty good, but it's still a little too tall. 7 is a little bit better. It's almost a perfect square, I think, but I feel that 6.5, 6.5 for this particular photo really gives you a pretty perfect square. So if you are using this photo, you want 10 rows and 6.5 columns. It's hard to tell between 7 and 6.5. I say either one will work for this particular photo. But again, you need to hit enter every time you change the number so you can really see. And as long as you get close to a square, that's going to be just fine. Your final step using the website is to download the image, and it will download the image calling image with grid automatically into your download folder. So if you go to your File Explorer and look at downloads, you'll see it right there. And you can see in the preview, it's got that grid. So once you have that saved, you are ready for the next step, which will be to add a grid to your paper, either your sketchbook or to the heavier paper that came with your art kit. And the video for how to do that is linked right there in the assignment page in the next step. And so I think you're ready to get moving, make some art. Now, before I let you go to make some art, I just want to remind you that if this video seemed to go fast, you could always pause and do what I do, and then pause again and do what I do. So, yeah, find your image, upload it, and make your grid. And then you'll be ready to make some art.